awesome. And it's been a fun time. You don't get to see that because you're in Canada.
My friend has it.
I'm not serious. It's not mine, dude. He does it.
It's good to hear.
Issue 0 was out a couple weeks ago. Issue number 1 on the way. Issue 2 is already done. Issue 3, he's home stretched on the second half of it right now. Once again, with these books this year as well, not just putting great teams on them, but making sure they get to you guys. I mean, that once again, these last 2 years was just so hectic with trying to get everything back on track, with scheduling, with artists, with just us, you know, realizing where the company was going to push forward. But now that we have all that stuff, we're in a good spot. It's just moving forward and getting you guys great books, you know, as often as we possibly can. So Soulfire is one of those that we're so far ahead on, and I couldn't be happier and prouder. So this is alternate cover issue number 1 by Marcus Toe. He did volume 2 for us, so we came back to that. Retail incentive cover for number 1, Jason's line art. Cover issue number 3, which we've never shown before yet. Alternate cover by Michael Ryan. Moving on, Executive Assistant Iris. I'll try to go through this quickly, even though this is probably one of our biggest summer events coming up. Iris, did a lot of you guys pick up Iris Volume 1? You like Iris? We got a great response from that book. When it was originally released, everybody kind of expected one thing, but got another, which was great. David Wall did a fantastic job on the book. Sold out fantastically, so we're coming back with Volume 2. The trade paperback of Volume 1 will be out probably about a month or so before the event starts in June. But 2011, you're the executive assistant. We have a big project coming up called Hit List Agenda.
Because one thing everybody said when the first book came out was, more executive assistant Iris, more executive assistants. So we're going to do that.
Well, what we're doing, we've never done huge company-wide crossover. Probably never will. You won't see Soulfire characters intermingling with Fathom and Delic and Shrug and all that good stuff. Mike was always in the notion that all our universes existed in separate, you know, spots, and that's great. But that doesn't mean we can't do a really cool, huge event within one of the own titles itself. So Hit List Agenda was developed and formed. Basically, Executive Assistant Iris Volume 2 starts up 0 in June, number 1 in July, and then out of that spins 3 new mini-series, Executive Assistant Orchid, Lotus, and Violet. All 3 done by 3 different creative teams. It'll come out weekly, so what's going to happen is first week of July you'll have Iris number 1, second week of July you'll have Orchid number 1, Lotus, Violet, and then just repeats again in August and September. Lotus, I just blazed through that one, but Lotus written by Vince Hernandez, drawn by Oliver Nome. Orchid written by Scott Liddell, drawn by Michael Gunnell, and we have Violet written by Mr. Mark Andraco and illustrated by Pat Mon. Should be a whole heck of a lot of fun. First time ever, like I said, we're doing a really big, ambitious event like this weekly. So every single week you go in the stores, there should be a new executive assistant title there waiting for you. That is the ultimate goal of us this summer. Me and Vince have been working on this since the end of last year to make sure that happens. So it should be a lot of fun. Comic-Con probably have girls dressed up in costumes and stuff and kick off a really huge event. So definitely check this out. We're really excited for it, and hopefully it'll go off without a hitch. So fingers crossed. Haunted City. Don't know if any of you guys have been reading some of the press lately, but just yesterday morning this was announced. This is a book that we have coming up with Mick G, director of Terminator Salvation, producer on Chuck and Charlie's Angels. He did Human Target, a whole bunch of different projects. We're really good friends with one of his showrunners that works at the company there. Mike was great friends with him for a bunch of years, came to us with this project, and this will be a co-production that we're doing with them. The goal is to, have us put out the great comic book and have them working on it simultaneously to develop it for feature or television. Not too much has been released about this title yet, but it should be a whole lot of fun. Basically, it's set around New York City. This one is, as you can tell, Haunted City. It's not going to be a children's story. I don't know how much detail I can go into, but just know that a lot more information is going to be coming out on this title very shortly, and it should be something that you'll be aware of quite soon. So, Haunted City, make sure to keep that back in mind. Yes. I'll blaze through the rest rest of the stuff so we get to some questions. Delic, the Lost issue number 6 will be on the way. A couple months. Just kind of got pushed behind a few things, but it will be on the way. So.
Not the coloring at all.
Shrugged, a lot of people asking about Shrugged. I get a lot of good feedback on this. Volume 1 finished up. I actually am bringing back Volume 2 later this year. So look for the new Shrugged volume. Fathom, all the different trade paperbacks are out. We're trying to collect a lot more books into trades. I know it's tough, once again, like I was saying earlier, for retailers to continually stock all our stuff. Hopefully they will start more, but we're trying to give you guys more trades and collected editions. That way, if you miss something, you can go pick up the trade and hopefully catch up and be back on track with all of our books. Turner Tribute issue. We always have this book available for anybody who wants to pick it up. Yeah, we're just about done. These are all Soulfire trades. Like I said, we're definitely just trying to focus more on getting all the older books, miniseries, things that we've done in the past out. A few quick pieces from the Splash issue. Me and Vince realized after planning out all the Iris stuff and planning all the other summer books, we forgot to schedule in the Splash book for summer. So we already have a lot of pieces done for it. However, we don't have it scheduled in anywhere. We'll find a spot. So we always have a lot of fun with those books. So it'll come out sometime later this year. And then as well, if all that Aspen stuff isn't enough, we still do a lot of work for Marvel, DC. Peter's working on Ultimate X for those guys. We do a whole bunch of different miscellaneous covers for Marvel. Just did this one of my favorites, Hulk and Cap. We also do work for DC. Great friends with all those guys. I actually just wrote a story for them in the JLA 80-pager. Peter's coloring covers on all different books, finishing up one of the most hectic deadlines of all time with the Brightest Day series that was coming out bi-weekly. So that was a fun task, which he's home stretching it on right now in the final issue.
Because they wouldn't let me color Green Arrow, I asked. And he wouldn't let me do it.
So that's been a whole heck of a lot of fun. Another project coming up with them soon. The new Aspen statue just came out mid-January. Hopefully you guys, if you're into statues, pick that up. We have a few left, but it sold out fantastically. And then Aspen Digital, I know we announced this last year. Took us a little while to get all of our ducks in a row with all of our digital stuff, but everything's done, everything's approved. We should start having all of our digital content out actually in the next couple of weeks. This book right here is one of our original Fathom stories that we did for our digital partners, and it'll be available on all the different platforms. All the proceeds from this will go to the oil spill, and we're also going to probably work out something for some proceeds on some of the other stuff to go to the Japan relief. So that'll be a very good cause if you guys pick up our books digitally. And thank God that's it.
Alright, so we've got time for half of a question. No, I'm just kidding, we got time. Alright, so we're going to quickly open the floor up to questions, and then we'll let Jason talk some more about his loathing of my nickname. Do we have any questions? None at all. After all of that, too, you covered everything again.
I tried.
Are you guys thinking about doing clothes again?
Yes.
Clothing?
Did you run out of stuff for your wardrobe yet?
Yes.
Can you make a pink tank top in Danny's size? He's been asking.
Alright, all the people who want to see a pink tank top on Danny, please raise your hand. That was 3 people. Okay? Wait, you wore one before?
A lot of people ask about shirts and stuff. Yeah, that's something I'm looking into right now. Hopefully we'll have some later this summer.
Thanks for asking a question.
Oh, thank you.
On Idolized, when is that coming out? When is the first issue? Zero issue or whatever the first thing is?
The zero issue will probably be out the week after Comic-Con. We might have a special edition that's available at Comic-Con, but that's what we're looking at this point. And then the first issue will come out the month after that, and it'll be the first week of each month after.
Okay, so June previews, or if it's out in August? I'm trying to think of what issue of previews.
It'll probably
It might be the next one, the August issue of previews. Because July was our before that.
Well, but it'll be the previews that comes out.
The one that comes out.
Yeah, it'll be the June previews.
Yeah.
The June previews will be.
That'll be for
stuff coming
September
out.
stuff. Right.
Yes.
It's 2 months.
JT, did
We have a little prize for those of you who have questions and that motivates.
Talking to me.
All right.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Anybody have any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you want to know from JC?
Did you cover up the my teacher just so that you did not have it?
No, if you see it, it actually looks so cool. Like I wore this one day and I was cold and I put this on and I liked how it kind of glowed through. It makes it almost look like it's the symbol shining and I thought it was just cool. So. It says Aspen.
It's because he's worked with us. He's worked with us for about 7 years now, and he knows us. And if he has anything that resembles a target on his chest, we're going to start throwing things at him.
And it's also because he survives the 6-hour car drive with us to and from LA. So
That's where the real fun happens.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
How come you guys don't want to do any crossovers between your different titles? Is that completely out of the question, or is it?
You know what? It was something Mike just honestly never wanted to do because, not that it wouldn't be fun, but truly he didn't like ever doing those crossover type books. It was always tough because he never wanted to
They don't exist in it.
ruin the integrity of each character just trying to make something happen with it. So ever since Aspen was started back in 0203, it was just kind of a thing where we're like, you know what, each of our worlds exist alone, and it'll be like that, and it's just never been something on our radar.
We decided, it was less important to have one contiguous universe where everything interconnected. It was more important to have stories mean something and do something. That way, if the story needs to take a world in some direction, that way it can do it on its own, and that's the story for that one, and not have to worry about how that interplays out for all the other consequences, for Spider-Man or anyone else.
Plus, we don't want our editor's brain to explode.
But I will say, hit list agenda is going to be a really awesome test, and I haven't told these guys yet, but man, if hit list agenda goes off well, there'll definitely be a few more really cool things like that coming up in the future, because it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of new great series coming out, a lot of series that are excellent to start off with. Frank, the question for me is, what's the one that you're most excited about?
Yeah, Frank.
Lady Mechanic, Soulfire, Adam.
Thank you.
Well, it's funny, because
Something that JT got a cold.
whenever I read their guys' scripts, it's funny because I was doing different voices and stuff for the books. That's an awesome question, man. I would probably have to say the one I'm most excited about, just because it's finally back on track, and it's a lot of internal stuff, but it would probably just be Fathom. And honestly, there's been so much over the years that's gone on with that, with delays and scheduling. It's seemed to have been, honestly, like our cursed book. Like, no matter what we did with that title, we just could not get it on track, whether it be an artist problem or this problem or whatever. And finally, I've expressed this to those guys like 20, 30 times. I'm so stoked that that book will be consistent with the same team and just coming out on time and really, bringing back what Mike made so special about that. So I love all our stuff, but that would probably be the one thing I'm super excited for. And of course, Shrug Volume 2, because I'm writing that. So that'll be fun.
Minefield. Can't wait for it. Yes, sir.
Are you coloring the Haunted series, or when will that release? Timelines?
That will release. I will not be coloring it.
For sure, they have big plans with it for Comic-Con, so it has to be out prior to that. So you will see it in this previews coming up, actually. That's why I said there's a lot of news coming up on it very, very quickly and very soon. And Zero will be out beginning of July, and number 1 will be out beginning of August, and we'll probably have both those issues at Comic-Con.
So I'll probably contribute covers and stuff like this with other prior commitments and being done by Comic-Con. Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. How many issues do you roughly plan for Lady Mechanic?
Well, we initially were targeting, we were going to go for 6, but the story itself sort of I might extend it to 8 or 9, maybe. It's like really, as I'm going, it's sort of like, well, it's got some good response, so it's like I could probably, mold a little bit. I mean, like extend some of these things and develop them a little bit more, and I don't have to condense some of the stories so much. So it's like, I mean, again, it's like I'm going around there. I'd say between 6 and 9. So it's like somewhere around there. I'm working at it, I'm making it up as I go, so we'll see.
Like that answer? Yes, sir.
On like the statue of Aspen stuff, have you guys ever thought of coming out with one for the Soulfire of Grace, or?
Yes.
We had a Soulfire Grace statue, what, 7
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah. A Grace was released. That was the very first one. Was the Grace statue. Super tough to find now. Super expensive. We are working on a few new statues, which one is based in the Soulfire universe, and then a few other ones as well. So.
I'm just going to repeat that question. You mentioned in the back of one of the Lady Mechanicas that you had race boards, kind of another idea for it. I was wondering if that would be something in the works after Lady Mechanica.
I mean, I've talked to Marshall Chan, who's my co-creator, and we've talked about maybe doing something with it, but no real plans at this point. It's like I'd like to continue with it in some regard. It's like I mean, it's that's just another one of my babies. So it's like I want to do something with it, but it's like there's nothing solid at this point.
Any other questions? Yes.
My question's for Jason. Peter mentioned that you're really excited and doing a great job working on Soulfire. So can you tell us what you love so much about working on that book?
For me, like coming into Soulfire, I had never read it prior, and it was actually last year at C2E2. I brought my portfolio to Frank and showed him, and he said, "Yeah, we might have something for you." And so he gave me like everything that they've ever done, and I went home with like a huge stack of books like this, and I read them all, and the 2 books that really came across to me as being something I would really love to do was Fathom and Soulfire. And then a few months later they were offering me the job on Soulfire, and I loved the stuff that Mike had done and what Joe had done in the book, and that's kind of, I wanted to bring everything art-wise back to what the originals kind of looked like, but with kind of the darker story, bring a little bit more shadows and stuff into it as well. And so it's been awesome, and I'm learning a lot from it, and like I was mentioning today, JT's scripts are just easy to draw. He's such a good writer. He knows how to lay out the panels so well. You don't have to really think about things. You don't have to make changes. You just draw it, and yeah, I'm having a blast on the book so far.
Best answer. Another best answer.
You don't have to suck up anymore. You already got the job.
Can you give me a little history on Aspen? Like when the first story came out, about how many books you've published in time? Rough estimate?
Well, our first book was published in early 2003, and then everything got paused for a while we dealt with a few remaining issues from the company we had left. But that was honestly a blessing in disguise, because we were such great friends with all the guys at DC and whatnot. We went on to do a few huge books at DC, Superman, Batman, Godfall, worked on a bunch of different covers, just helped bring more notoriety to our company and everything, which was great. Let us meet a lot of great people. And then we've been publishing, ever since that summer. Good, 150 plus issues at least. Yeah, quite a bit. Obviously a lot more covers, because we do alternate covers on a lot of our books to give people choices and whatnot. But yeah, we publish all our books in arcs. You'll never see a issue 150 from us, unfortunately, but you'll always see volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. That way we can have a very concise, consistent team. The same writer, the same artist, colorist, you name it.
And also stories at beginning, middle, and end that,
Yeah.
that have conclusions and don't have to be, feel like they're ongoing, and then we have to reset. Like say new with Superman and Spider-Man, we'd have to reset every 5 to 6 years. Basically, each story will be told as it needs to be told, and then so on and so forth.
So hopefully we'll be doing this another 10 years.
Have you guys ever thought of going into other mediums with your properties?
Such as?
Like animation or some kind of film or?
Yeah, all the above. And to do a quick rundown, because no one's asked this yet, the Fathom movie, we got the rights back. It's not with Fox anymore. Some people know that, some people don't, but we're actually working on funding right now to get it produced ourselves. We've been working on that for the past several weeks, which has been going really, really well. Megan Fox is full bore. She's one of the producers on the movie, and everything's looking really, really great with that. We couldn't be more excited because finally, once again, the property's back with ours, so we have a few other great Fathom things that we're never really able to move forward with due to contractual obligations, that Fox had on the property, but now we'll be able to have a lot of fun with Fathom. So you'll be seeing a bunch of things that we've been wanting to do for years that we weren't able to because everything was held up, but now it's not, so we're going to have fun with our books. Soulfire, that's moving along great as well. We just got this script treatment back. Turned out really, really well. We're going out to directors with that over the next couple weeks, see how that pans out, and hopefully have some announcements later this summer. Minefield, we've been getting a lot of great heat on that. That's actually getting set up right now with a production house that's owned by an actor who wants to be attached to it. We can't talk about a lot of that stuff yet, but it's in the works. So we're really excited about Minefield because that should be a type of movie or a TV show that could be made very well for a modest budget. And then
as far as like the other broad strokes, I mean things like animation, it's a complicated industry. It's in a little downturn right now, but we keep an open mind. We've always been about setting up right relationships with the right people at places that we feel not only will respect what we do and how we do it, but that we feel like we like their product and want to work with them. So when those right people come along, we will absolutely partner with them and do it. So rest assured, if it hasn't happened yet, it's because the conditions haven't been right to make it something that you guys would respect as much as we would. So, anything else? Yes, sir.
You guys are great for developing talent. Who do you guys have in your company that's coming up that you expect to go well with?
Thanks.
I'm serious, he's done like 3 issues now. I mean, he's going to blow up really huge.
Yeah, Jason Alex for sure. I mean, once all Alex's new Fathom stuff gets started showing and all his next volume of Soulfire stuff starts making its way out there, I mean, he's already getting ready to be primed for a huge project at DC that he's getting ready to start working on for a little while. So, yeah, people are already noticing, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
And also, some of us have been doing stuff for a long time, but now we're going to be moving in different areas. Frank's doing different writing kind of assignments, and so basically he's going to be a new kid on the block. We have high hopes for Joseph Benitez, or Jose Benitez, excuse me. I always want to do that when I say Joe, I want to make it Joseph, but it's fine. But, I think he's a talent on the rise. I think he could definitely turn in some stuff. JT, as if you notice, he just exploded. He's all over the place. And Mark Rosin's another one I think we've seen really, really great things from.
And we have a new Micah.
Oh yeah, we have another Micah. Micah Kaneshiro will be drawing his book. Is another guy that we found. Was in San Diego last year.
Broken Pieces is awesome. By the way, it's a really cool project. It's one of those projects you're like, God, I wish I thought of it. So I'll be putting out my own Broken Pieces.
That'll be the quote on the back of the first book, by the way. Man, I wish I thought of this. Couple more questions? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
What's up, Beth? Making sure your voice still works.
Thank you.
Anything more?
No, I'm good.
Any other questions for Pat? No? Danny, anything for Mark?
Still in love with him?
Wow. He's your biggest fan and he doesn't even have any questions for you. Alright.
Are you guys going to wrestle this time?
It's really odd trying to embarrass 2 shy guys. They're just standing in their corner going.
We knew you were going to do this, so we decided to mutually not respond.
Which you just broke right now. Oh, you ruined it. Danny, he sold you out, man.
It still feels like heat even though you guys are so far apart.
All the guys in the middle are really uncomfortable.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, because we only have a few minutes left to wrap up. But yeah, hopefully, once again, you guys are noticing that we're trying to put out more books.